Halloween birthday view. I'm not told that I'm born to leave and step behind all the things people do as if it's all of mine. Now I won't, and isn't it funny to have them walk in sunlight? Then I get them out of my mind. Them all the things I used to do ain't gonna waste my precious time of thinking of what do I do. All trees go blossom, time is flying, days of spring will never come back. I went with my mom to that old time show. I asked her, please, mother, can I have a popsicle? She said, honey, you're a sweetie, you're my chocolate cake. I'll get you one later, we're gonna be late. Here's a cucumber shake. As the crowd started clapping, we were already out. And as the snack bar was closing, I was bursting into tears. She said, honey, you're a sweetie, you're my apple pie. I'll get you one later, don't be such a hater, try pickles on rye. I dream of treats, any kind of sweets. They make me feel so wonderful. Tell me what's the use having a sweet tooth? I need that candy now, now, now. We found our way home, we were worn down and beat.
Said that you've been hurt one too many times before. Ended up staring in the bathroom mirror, crying on your bedroom floor. Baby, you can take my word, you haven't gotta hurt no more. Things about to get much better. I wanna make this forever. I wanna make this forever. Said that you felt lost 100 times before. Going in circles on a one-way street, running till your feet get sore. Well, I guess you haven't heard, you ain't gotta run no more. Things are about to get much better, so I wanna make this forever. 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 I wanna make this Come on, baby, take a leap of faith. We got a love that's worth the wait. Darling, you've been on my mind. Gonna love you to the end of time. And I know you're the one. Our story's just begun. I'm never gonna let you go. With your love I'll never be alone. There's only one thing I know for sure. I'm never gonna let you go. Come on, baby, what you waiting for? You and me could be so much more. There's something I've been dying to say. Honey, let's take a leap of faith. And I know you're the one. Our story's just begun. I'm never gonna let you go. With your love I'll never be alone. There's only one thing I know for sure. I'm holding on forevermore.
It's sunny as I fall out from the sky, and I'm wondering what I do. Just a moment ago, been on that perfectly go. Kept following birthday view. I'm not told that I'm born to leave and step behind all the things people do as if it's all of mine. Now I won't, and isn't it funny to have a walking sunlight then? I get them out of my mind. Them all the things I used to do ain't gonna waste my precious time of thinking of what do I do. All trees go blossom, time is flying, days of spring don't ever come like these. I love the rain, it sounds die. They die away down on the street. They get me sometimes, drag out from the sky, and now I'm wondering how it was. Just a moment ago, being on the perfectly go, kept following birds a few. They flew in sunlight there.
I know I cannot see it through. I got my head on straight so you can pass the blues. Disco biscuits in my little tooth. I got this throbbing headache and I'll bend the truth. Ace my test, I guess that I'm the best. I guess that I'll be better when the better rest. I just can't get over this bar I've set, so I'm gonna take this bar and throw it off the edge. And all I'll ever be is riding next to me, spotting on my screen, sunburn down on me. And I hope that you watch this, I hope that you will. I hope you feel better about these cards you dealt. Look around and tell me what you see. Is it a brand new man or is it same old me? I keep marching forward with a small belief that if I'm still persistent, then I'll soon break free. Lost my thought, I think it wasn't bold. I think it's just a thought that wasn't meant to be told. I grew out of my lens and I could fit my soul. Oh,
second I could spend. Don't know what the future holds, but we'll always have our songs, and you'll always have a person to call home. Eyes are locked together, wanna throw away the key. No, this moment's not forever, but we could be. I think you're the one. I think you're the one. I think you're the one. I don't know much about love, but I've seen it come and gone. And I think you're the one. Slowly wanna open wide, heart is crossed and fingers tied. You got me riding higher than my hopes. Picture us in 20 years, kissing you behind the ears, going down in the history we both wrote. Eyes still locked together, we're not looking for the key. They say nothing lasts forever, but we can see. I think you're the one. I think you're the one. I think you're the one. I don't know much about love, but I've seen it come and gone. And I think you're the one.